If you're using Google Shopping ads, then I'm sure you had this issue before, and chances are that you have it right now. Many of you guys told me about this, and this is your Google Shopping ads actually not getting delivered at all. So whether this means you get literally 0 impressions and clicks or just very, very, very few, it's super frustrating if you prepare everything, if you want to get started, but you simply just don't get any traffic. And there are many reasons for that. Unfortunately, there is no perfect solution. So in this video, I want to show you multiple things that you can do step by step to maybe solve this problem, ideally solve this problem. And chances are that if you follow all these steps, you will actually get it to work eventually. But I have to tell you up front that sometimes, literally after going through all of these steps, you still don't show up on Google and you simply have to wait. But I'm sure that for the majority of you guys, these steps will be very helpful. So let's have a closer look at it. So this is my 7-step process for getting your Google Shopping ads to work. And the first step, very straightforward, is to verify that your Merchant Center account shows no issues or just as few issues as possible. So if you go into your Merchant Center account, you will see this little graph right here, and you will see how many products are active, expiring, pending, or disapproved. Now, what you need to make sure is that the products you are trying to advertise on Google Ads are all active right here on in your Merchant Center account. Okay, so everything should be fine, that everything should be active and everything should be totally in shape. And also you have to double check that your items are actually all active here. And if some of them are disapproved, that's not that much of an issue if you don't plan to advertise them. But in the ideal case, you always try to keep as many products active as possible so that you can advertise them whenever you want. And it's also best practice. You see here in this case, we have a few disapproved items. That's fine for now, but always aim to get your products active and to have as many of them active as possible. The second step is to check in Google Ads itself that there are no issues. So if you go into your product groups right here, you see that the product status here says ready to serve. If you click on your shopping campaign and then you click on product or product groups on the left hand side, you will see for these individual products if there is an issue or not, right? Ready to serve or why it may not be ready to serve. And this is pretty intuitive and pretty self-explanatory, but chances are that there is something hidden that you did miss at some point. So make sure to double check, very easy, and then you will get the answer if something is actually off. Now the third is actually something that's a little less straightforward, and this is setting your campaign delivery from standard to accelerated. Now if you go into your campaign settings, so you go into your Google Shopping campaign, not the ad group, and then you click on settings, you will see under the category budget that there is this thing delivery method. And if you expand this, by default, it's always on standard, which means that Google tries to optimize the delivery of your ads over time, evenly throughout the day, so that like you spend roughly the same during the morning as you do during the evening, simply so that you can have more data on which times work best, for example. You can switch that to accelerated, which means Google tries to spend your budget as quickly as possible. And sometimes this can help because then, of course, it's all much quicker and it's more likely that you actually start spending. It's just something that you should test if the other things didn't work for you yet, and if you're struggling with that. Chances are that if you had this issue for multiple days, that this will not magically solve it, but still it makes a lot of sense to test it, and most likely it may deliver a little bit quicker that way. Then number 4 is very simple to increase your bid. So let's say your bid is at 50 cents right now, okay, for your whole campaign or just for a single product. You should first of all try a small increase, for example, increasing it from 50 to 70 cents, and see whether you're just slightly below the threshold of getting impressions, right? This may be the case. Like there are cases where the floor, so the minimum you have to bid, is way above your current CPC bid, and then of course it cannot really work. So try a small increase first, and then if this doesn't work, try a massive increase, for example $2 or $3 or something like that, because then if you do this for 1 or 2 days, you can be sure that this is not the issue. So try a small increase first to make sure that you're not suddenly massively overspending. Then try the massive increase and see whether this is actually the issue. If you don't get any traffic for 1 or 2 days after you set your bid to $2 or $3, you know that the bid is not the issue. If you start delivering ads, of course, adjust the bid again. So don't run with a $3 bid just because the ads are running now. Of course, you should pick what's profitable for you. So as soon as it kicks in, make sure to reduce the bid again. Then number 5 is to double check your title and your descriptions. And I must say, most of the time, Google is pretty advanced and pretty sophisticated in getting you traffic if your title makes some kind of sense. Like, you don't have to add massive keywords in there to be triggered in the first place, but of course, the more relevant and the more popular keywords you put in there, the more likely you are to actually show. So do you have important keywords in your Google Shopping title and ideally in the description? That's the first question. If not, make sure to add them, especially try some high volume keywords. You can do this with the Google Keyword Planner and see if then you actually start delivering. Fill in as many fields as possible, including the Google product category is also important. So many people don't fill in all the mandatory fields, like whether it's an adult product or not, what the Google Shopping category is, if there is a gender associated to that product, even if it's not like necessary. A best practice that I recommend you guys to follow is to add to fill in as many fields as possible. It's just better than filling in all the mandatory fields and nothing else. Many of my clients and many of the people I work with, they miss a lot of fields, they miss a lot of things in there, and we double check and we change a lot of things, and then actually it works better. Then number 6 is removing negative keywords. So did you create a massive negative keyword list up front? I have this several times as well. When people join my coaching, they already started with a massive negative keyword list, even though they don't know yet if these negative keywords are actually relevant. And I literally had cases where people accidentally or sometimes not accidentally used very popular keywords as negative keywords. As an example, let's say you're selling a backpack, and literally I had people that accidentally had backpack as a negative keyword, which of course makes it very hard for Google to give you the right traffic. So make sure that if this problem keeps occurring, try literally removing all but the most important negative keywords and see if it was restricting your traffic. So things like cheap or free or maybe Amazon or something like this, you can of course keep, but try removing all content related negative keywords. See if this actually starts delivering and kickstarting your campaigns. Most likely, again, guys, most likely those negative keyword lists don't cause your campaign to not deliver at all. But again, it makes sense to try it out. It makes sense to test it and see if this actually improves your performance. Then later on, of course, re-add negative keywords gradually again. You don't have to like keep them removed just for the sake of showing up, because it's important to use them, but make sure to re-add them later on when you actually start kicking in your traffic. And then ultimately, number 7 is to reconnect your entire feed. So this means delete your feed or remove your connection if you're using the Simprosys Shopify shopping app, for example. Remove that connection. This is a content API connection. And then switch from a feed app to manual Google Sheets, for example. So manually entering the data, the information about your products in your Google Sheet, or vice versa. You don't have to do this for all your products. Let's say it doesn't deliver for you. You can create a Google Sheet and you can, add just 10 products or 20 products. Fill them in, see if this actually causes your campaigns to deliver. Then reconnect everything. So as soon as you have this new feed set up, make sure to fetch the data in case you want to switch from Google Sheets to the merchant, to the Google Shopping app. Make sure to connect it and everything, or reconnect, and then see how it goes. Chances are, so sometimes it actually works. I've tried this numerous times. Often it doesn't, change something, but I also had cases where it actually started delivering after reconnecting it. So highly recommended to check this out. And ultimately, if this also doesn't work, if this all of these things don't work for you, then ask Google support. And same thing here again, unfortunately, they won't tell you press this magic button and it will work. Oftentimes they will just tell you things like spend more, or set your delivery to accelerated, which you may have done at this point already, or they just tell you have to wait. And guys, I have cases with clients and students where literally we have been waiting for weeks and sometimes even like 1 or 2 months for products to get delivered. So you see, there is no perfect formula to always get them delivered. Unfortunately, like Google Shopping ads sometimes can be a mess these days because there are so many people joining that there is no perfect solution, as I told you in the beginning. However, if you go through all these 7 steps here, your you massively increase your chance of getting your campaigns delivered. They are especially useful if you get very limited traffic. So if you just get like 100 impressions per day or something, then these tips will be much more useful and helpful than if you get like absolutely zero, because then there is usually some deeper issue. There is something like, maybe there is just some internal thing that keeps you from running ads and you cannot do anything about this. But still, I hope that these 7 steps here were helpful for you. If they were, please let me know in the comments, and please leave a like below. Let me know in the comments if you are having this problem right now, and did you try anything to solve that? Did you try any of these 7 steps already, or maybe you went through all of them and it didn't help? Let me know, it would be very interesting. And if you want me to work with you personally, if you want me to help you grow your Google Ads sales, if you want me to help you grow your e-commerce business, just scale your campaigns to the next level, finally make them profitable, or whatever it is, make sure to check the link in the description to work directly with me, or at least to apply to work directly with me. Would be very interesting. Of course, subscribe to this channel if you want to see more Google Ads content specifically for e-commerce. Would be great if you subscribe to not miss out on the next video. And now, I wish you all the best. I hope that you can use these tips to solve your Merchant Center and your Google Ad delivery problems. And I'm really looking forward to see you in the next video again, guys. So thanks a lot for watching, and until then,